Ooh, Red Riding Hood. Is there a big bad wolf? Oh, great shot.
I need the doctor. Are you the doctor?
Yes. Do you have an appointment? You need an appointment to see the doctor.
Oh, I love it. It's from her perspective. Beautiful.
When you drink a glass of Coke, it's only this big, but it's actually got this much sugar in it. Works a bit like that.
What does?
The TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside.
I don't think she needs any.
than the outside. Oh, did you not notice?
I just thought it's supposed to be bigger on the inside, so I didn't say anything.
Well, of course it's supposed to be bigger.
Look at this.
Most people are confused by that.
You should ask somebody who knows.
It's none of the drawbacks of being the last of your species. No one to ask when your TARDIS won't start.
There might be one more. Possibly Missy. Hey, okay. I dig it.
Give me that, Bradley.
Ooh.
I'm allowed a torch, sir?
Ooh.
I've got to know. I'm darkness phobic.
Bit of a field trip. It brings back a lot of fun memories from school. I'll give it a chance, folks. There's a lot of kids in this one. I understand it's a kids, bit my tongue, a kids show at the end of the day, but
I, Doctor, have finally got something amazing to show you.
Yes, well, there are some things that I've never seen. That's usually because I've chosen not to see them. Even my incredibly long life is too short for Les Miserables.
You are gonna love this.
you've seen a bit of it.
When you come to collect this child, you can tell me then.
Huh? What child?
Young female human, standard defenseless little girl.
She probably has a name.
Good point. You have
Yeah.
no name at all.
Maeve. My name's Maeve.
What? Maeve?
A beautiful shot. Great photography in this
What
one.
did they say?
Who?
School, parents, you were just on the phone.
Oh yeah, rang school and parents. Yes, of course. Thought that was the
Clara.
Thought you said they're in love. Why are they shouting at each other?
That's what you
That's
do.
what people do when they're in love. Don't you know anything?
How did it get here? Can a forest grow overnight, or have we been asleep for years like Sleeping Beauty?
No, the question is, how are we going to get these kids home?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, that is the question. You are enjoying this just a little bit too much. Come on.
He's got a bit of
You're
practice.
even a little bit curious
Experience.
about how, who, why, when.
I am curious. I'm bewildered. I am, in fact, enchanted. But I'm not the priority here. The kids are.
You see, now that attitude is
The right attitude.
very attractive.
Trees have no moving parts and they don't communicate.
They communicate a bit though.
To each other.
What?
Otherwise they wouldn't all grow at the same time, would they? Trees usually have rings to tell you how old they are. This one's got no rings. Why is that then, sir?
Interesting.
The rings mark the years of growth. One ring for each year.
Recent.
This grew up overnight. That whole tree is the result of just one night's growth, and they're still growing.
What are the round bits for?
Ask your teacher. Come on, down from there. Hey, away from the
Oh,
teacher.
no.
Come on, that's an antique. Get away from there. Don't touch that. Something, someone, has coordinated
Marking?
this. To coordinate, you need to communicate. Every communication channel on the TARDIS
She's
is
been in
open
here.
and
He's gonna see now.
Nothing.
Her sister went missing last year. She's on medication. The child is barely functioning. She hears voices. She's very vulnerable.
Those voices could be
I don't know if she
useful.
takes tablets and they stop.
Hey, do not touch anything. Anything. Okay?
Okay.
See? Someone needs to go. Child protection.
Left it as a clue so we would know where she was going. Trail of breadcrumbs, Hansel and Gretel.
I'm actually frightened. I never get frightened. Why am I frightened?
Just lost a little girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a worry, but I know you'll find her. No. This is not a worry. This is a dread.
Yes. Clever girl.
Clever girl. Jurassic Park. Doesn't feel like a good idea. Doesn't feel right. It's gonna grow. Oh, it didn't do anything.
This is Maeve's. Where did you get this?
You left your marking on the TARDIS.
Oh, great. Right. Well, that's just brilliant, isn't it? You don't think Danny saw this, do you?
Oh, he saw it.
I've just informed you that a solar flare is going to wipe out your planet. You're worried about a row with your boyfriend. How does she know this?
Is that a howl?
Yeah. Big
Is
bad.
that a wolf?
Oh no.
Can we please deal with the wolves first?
These are zoo wolves. They're not even used to hunting.
Doctor!
They're about to jump. No, they're not scared of you.
Those wolves are terrified.
Of something else.
What are wolves frightened of?
Oh, lion. Oh, or tiger.
Maeve, this forest is communicating. With you, nobody else, no technology can hear what it's saying, but you can. Who are they?
We are here always since the beginning and until the end.
I did a number on her.
You came looking for the doctor. Think. Who sent you for the doctor?
It was just a thought. It was just a thought that came. I think it came from Miss. They've gone.
From Miss? Miss? Could it be Missy?
You've been chopping them down for furniture for centuries. If that's love, no wonder they're calling down fire from the heavens.
But we saw the future.
Oh, those beautiful brows.
Lots of futures.
Yeah,
Birds, futures.
They're about to be erased.
but yeah.
We're all going. We're taking the kids.
Taking them where? What are you going to do with them? Leave them on an asteroid? Find a space academy for the gifted and talented? They just want their mum and dads. And they're never going to stop wanting them.
She looks really different there.
Well, you don't want to live.
Of course I want to live. I just...
What?
Don't make me say it.
Say what?
I don't want to be the last of my kind.
Then why did you bring us all here?
Because it's the only way to get you back to the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Make you think you're saving someone? Well, you know what, Doctor? This time,
Save
the
yourself.
human race is saving you. Make it worthwhile.
This is my world too. I walk your earth. I breathe
Yeah?
your air.
And on behalf of this world, you're very welcome.
It's there on the screen. Look. Big solar flare. Headed this way. 1,000 kilometers a second. Trees. Whenever there's a planet-threatening extraterrestrial impact, trees. Massive forest filling the atmosphere.
Self-defense?
with oxygen, pumping it up like a massive, highly inflammable airbag, so that when trouble hits,
Everyone dies.
No.
no, the impact burns off the excess oxygen.
That's cute.
Okay. And I think that's it.
Dial her in.
They're here to help. Be less scared. Be more trusting. Oh, and about Arden. Please come home.
Who would like to witness a once-in-a-billion-years solar event at close quarters?
Mum! There's my mum!
So, trip to space, anyone?
I want my mum.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it wasn't quite the reaction the doctor was expecting.
What an educational opportunity.
You go. I was a soldier. I put myself at risk. I didn't try too hard to survive, but somehow, here I am.
Keep it that way.
I don't want to see more things. I want to see the things that are in front of me more clearly. There are wonders here, Clara Oswald. One person is more amazing. Harder to understand, but more amazing than universes.
Really? What person is that then?
You can't. You've got marking.
Yeah.
Oh, he
I
interrupted.
just want to know the truth. I don't care what it is.
Fair,
I
man.
just want to know it.
Fair enough.
Like Maeve said, like the forest. Fear a little bit less, trust a bit more.
I hope I'm right. Slightly awkward if the world was destroyed at this point.
What?
There goes the planet-sized airbag. That's the trees, harvesting the solar fire.
Now that was surprising. I love surprises.
Oh, it's a bit of a different demeanor this time. Is it gonna be sis? It is.
I knew you'd be here. The thought of you came to me.
Okay, so episode 10, The Forest in the Night. How to begin? Listen, I don't think it's the greatest episode. It's certainly not one of the stronger episodes of Series 8. Yeah, I mean, that ending, it just didn't do much for me, right? Like, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the emotional punch of that ending. You know, the lost sister being found or coming back. It's just, I don't know. I just didn't feel anything. I think I was just kind of looking at the screen, not much of a reaction to that moment. I mean, you know, not every single episode can be a knockout. But you know, that being said, I do kind of feel bad in these situations because I know people tune in, and you know, kind of they want to enjoy a reaction to the show that they love so much. But you know, from time to time, an episode just doesn't do it. You know, sometimes the episode just doesn't do it for me. And this might be one of those episodes, right? As a whole, yeah, it's not the greatest. But that being said, it certainly has its share of strong elements. I think on the character side of things, it's quite strong actually. A lot of strong character moments, especially for Denny Pink, and then the whole, you know, Denny Pink and Clara relationship. There's also a massive moment for the Doctor as well in this, right? It's essentially kind of bringing in that massive moment from Kill the Moon, right? You see that in that time span, he has changed his stance. He has kind of changed his tune. And he has kind of accepted that indeed, yeah, Clara was spot on, you know. Maybe at the time it might have felt like an outburst to him, but she was spot on about some of these things. And you see that he is really quite accepting of a lot of those things. And he is essentially claiming and embracing some of the things she had to say, that indeed, yes, you know, this is my world as well. You know, I walk this earth, I breathe this air, so I have just as much responsibility to look out for it, right? So it was great to see that kind of come back into play again. I mean, it's certainly an interesting concept. The hook is certainly there, you know, the city, or London specifically, being engulfed by this forest. I mean, it was really quite charming. You know, a thing I've noticed is that even if an episode ends up being not the greatest, there's always some elements, especially in the beginning, even before the cold open, that really kind of hook you in, but maybe the execution isn't quite right. And it kind of falls apart at the midpoint and towards the conclusion. But yeah, you know, the setup is there. I was certainly excited in the beginning of the episode. And yeah, you know, I've got to say, Maeve, the young girl, I liked her. I liked her for sure. You know, the emotional the emotional heartbeat of the episode. There's even a bit of a message here about listening to kids, right? Listen to the things they have to say. Sometimes they could be onto something. Sometimes they might have something really quite interesting to say, right? So I certainly like that character. And yeah, you know, as you guys know by now, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of children being featured in an episode of Doctor Who. And I know it is partly meant to be a kid's show as well. But, you know, I don't think you can just say that it's completely meant to be a kid's show. I mean, the fan base is just mammoth. It's massive at this point, right? And I think, of course, the creators and the people that are a part of this show know that, right? So they don't cater just to children, but that element is still a part of it, right? Now, that being said, I didn't mind any of the children or anything in this episode. You know, it didn't annoy me. In the past, there's been moments, and it's usually because of just one child's inclusion, perhaps. Their attitude might have annoyed me, but, you know, that being said, that's more of a personal thing, a personal preference, right? It shouldn't be a blanket statement. I know a lot of people might agree about, you know, the inclusion of children, but still, at the end of the day, it's our preference. It's just something that isn't for some of us. And of course, in this specific setup, it made complete sense to have a full class of them, right? Even that overnight trip or field trip to the museum, right? Sleeping overnight, There is something quite charming and magical about that, right? From the perspective of a student, because it almost immediately puts you in that mindset, takes you back to some of those fun times at school, right? Some of those fun trips. And the thing is, I actually quite liked and enjoyed the chemistry that is present, right? The children and Danny Pink, the children and Danny Pink and Clara, right? There is a chemistry there. It felt authentic, that these are students, or these are their students, and this is their teacher. These are their teachers, right? And, Danny Pink does not lose sight of it. The care of duty, right? As Clara told the doctor in Kill the Moon, right? Now it's kind of flipped. You see that Danny Pink does not lose sight of the thing that is most important, and that is the children and their safety. Even surrounded by the magical, the impossible, the fantastical. And he admits that, yeah, he's quite enchanted by it. But still, at the end of the day, the children are always there at the forefront. That's the only thing he's thinking about, getting them back home safely to their parents, right? And yeah, you see that Doctor, quite the slip there. You see that Clara, right? See, I was about to say that you see that Clara is playing the doctor role again in this situation, right? And you see that Danny kind of has to remind her almost, it's kind of exciting, but let's not forget, the children. And she's like, yeah, that's a good idea for sure. Hell, she even found it quite attractive, right? That he is able to dial in and have that focus and know, even in this situation, that that's the priority, right? To her, it's impressive, and it is impressive, right? Because you see that she's a bit more drawn to the perplexing situation at hand, right? Of course, it's been adequately set up that she thrives in these situations. She needs these situations, again, like an addict almost. She also noticed that Danny Pink kind of brings the best out of them, right? That they excel in his presence and around him, right? That he is this really fantastic presence to have around them, right? He certainly uses some of his training from his days as a soldier, his days in the military, right? That comes up again for sure, right? And I think there's a bit of a highlight moment here for Danny Pink in this episode. Maybe the series as a whole, Series 8, him reminding her that, he had that phase that Clara is kind of going through right now, right? That he was a soldier. He made those tough decisions, right? He put his life on the line. And hell, he wasn't even really trying to survive, but somehow he did. A lot of that can kind of apply to Clara in her, approach to this lifestyle, perhaps. But the thing is, at no point did Danny Pink seem preachy. At no point was he trying to, make her realize that his perspective is the right perspective, and that she should kind of fall in line. No, not at all. He's quite accepting. Hell, I think Danny Pink is actually even maybe a bit too nice. He is so nice. Given the fact that Clara, even though I adore Clara, I love Clara, she has been quite deceptive, right? The secrets and the lies and all of that. So I was really quite surprised to see how relaxed Danny Pink was about all of it. And that tells you quite a bit about the man he is, the person that he is, the character that he does have. Listen, a thing that I've kind of known at this point is that apparently a lot of people really, really dislike Danny Pink, right? And at this point, I'm kind of scratching my head. I'll be honest, I'm really scratching my head. I'm really, I've really tried to see how. I mean, yeah, there's a clear, oh yeah, he's kind of against the Doctor, or not against, he speaks out against the Doctor. And of course, us as fans of the Doctor, as supporters of the Doctor, yes, there's this defensive approach sometimes, but you have to be realistic about it as well, right? But that being said, I think pretty much everything Danny has said about the Doctor or to the Doctor has been quite justified. Yeah, it's a little bit baffling, folks. I'll be honest. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the angle. Listen, I'm not saying he's some incredible character or anything. No, he's just a decent side character, like an add-on character, right? Supporting cast character, essentially. But I think he's been a great and fantastic supporting cast character. But yeah, this idea of him living this life, that is quite the contrast from his soldier days. Yeah, he has something really quite interesting to say about that, didn't he? I don't want to see more things. I just want to see things that are closer to me or close to me more clearly, right? I thought that was really sweet. I thought that was really fantastic. That mindset. There is a place for that thought process or that mindset in this, I think. But yeah, I really enjoyed that scene. Him explaining his thought process of, really wanting to hang back and not really kind of getting caught up and swept up in all of this. Listen, Clara, my girl, I know she's all about that lifestyle at the moment. She is in that phase, and he understands. Danny Pink is so understanding of this as well. She is in that phase of, wanting to be out there. She's kind of caught up in the wonders of the world of the Doctor and everything that follows, right? And all the excitement of that and being at the precipice, making these decisions, being a part of these, decisions that kind of affect the universe at times. So yeah, at the end of the day, Clara is doing her thing, but I hope Danny Pink doesn't get dragged into this, doesn't get dragged into something he isn't trying to be a part of. But the thing is, easier said than done, given that that is his partner, right? Sometimes you don't have a choice but to get dragged into it. Also, I did get another look at Missy, who found the conclusion of all of that to be quite surprising, right? This time she's usually quite happy, right? Last time I saw her, she was really quite, it was almost like a psychotic happy, right? The last time I saw her, she's like, oh, my Clara. And of course, her saying those specific things, my Clara, it certainly put up a bit of a red flag as well for me, given that I've heard that phrase before, right? And, this whole concept of her making the right choice. Now, is there a possibility that this Missy character, who I believe could be a Time Lord, actually, that was one of the predictions I kind of threw out there in my last episode's discussion, maybe, a bit of theory crafting, because she was beginning to feel a bit like a Time Lord by the time I saw that scene. Is there a possibility that she's trying to gather intel? She's trying to kind of understand how the Doctor functions, because now you have in Clara someone who really truly understands the Doctor so much that she herself is beginning to behave like the Doctor. She could almost even be a double to the Doctor, right? She slots right in at times into that position of the Doctor. Hell, she even tries to recruit Danny Pink and the students as a companion, right? She does take up that Doctor role. Around the time the Doctor is not in the picture or not in those scenes. But that being said, I'm also beginning to think of that possibility as well now, that maybe the whole Impossible Girl aspect of this might be creeping back in, right? It's a possibility that I've thought of, that they might kind of go back to that or might kind of take from that once again. I just know that I'm really quite excited about this character. Right? I'm really quite excited to find out more about Missy, right? And I've got 2 episodes left. So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to find out soon enough, right? And I'm excited. I'm really quite excited about it. And then, once I find out truly who that is, how they kind of play a part in the next series and maybe even in Capaldi's era altogether. And also, lastly, I just kind of want to go to the beginning of the episode. I love the opening sequence of Maeve. Again, leading into the whole grim fairy tale aspect of it, really leading into the whole, the dread of the forest that is a part of folklore, right? Really leans into that. Even the TARDIS itself almost felt like this mythical thing. It is essentially a mythical thing, but it being in the forest, yeah, it kind of just felt like yet another fable, right? The TARDIS in the forest, the blue foam box in the forest. And I've got to say, I really enjoyed the photography, especially in the opening sequence there. A lot of it is quite stylistic from her perspective as this young child kind of lost out in the forest. Even inside of the TARDIS, it's from her perspective. That was really quite magical. That was beautiful. And then up top in the halls, right, you've got the handheld tracking shot. Beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, I think that should do it for this one, folks. If you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments. Give me your thoughts. Consider subscribing to the channel if you really enjoy the content. If you're interested in full length, timer-based full length, of course, or perhaps early access to the next few episodes right now, consider checking out the Patreon page and supporting the channel. If you're interested, the links are in the description and the pinned comment, also links to social media, things like Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for episode 11. Until then, take it easy.